After Drakkon releases Kiya from the confinement inside the bottle in safe haven, she tries to attack him, but is unsuccessful as she no longer has powers. Drakkon asks her to calm down as he is not the enemy, but she responds by reminding him of everything she lost because of him. Because of this, Drakkon changes his answer and tells her that he is no longer the enemy. He also tells her that she no longer has her Omega Ranger powers, so she obviously can't fight him, and her best option is to listen to his proposal since he released her because he needs her. After this, Drakkon takes Kiya to a master bow and she thinks he brought her there so she could try to activate it, but she doesn't know how to do it. Still, Drakkon replies that this is not her purpose, he only brought her there so that she can back him up and help him fight against those who oppose him. At that moment, Kever and Yale, the Yellow and Blue Omega Rangers, arrive. We should point out that Kiya was the Blue Omega Ranger, and because of this, she gets very angry because she thinks they gave her Morphin to a cat. At that moment, Kiya and Drakkon get ready to fight. The Omega Rangers starts to attack, but Drakkon and Kiya stop them easily. Then the other Omega Rangers arrive and Kiya gets mad at Trini for giving her Morphin to a cat. Drakkon drags Kiya into the archway and then tells Trini to destroy that archway before she gets to him. By this, we assume Drakkon is referring to Rita trying to get Dark Spectre. In Promethea, Rita drags Grace to take her away, but she doesn't understand why she's taking her too if she already has what she needs. Rita responds by telling him that she's very cunning and isn't going to take any chances. She then tells him about everything it has cost her to get here and tries to play with his mind by mentioning part of Grace and Zordon's story. At that moment, Rita hears someone coming and thinks it's Vessel, but to her surprise it's Lord Zed. The two begin an exchange of words about Lord Zed's new powers, and he also mentions to her how insane it was to use Zordon's body to get Vessel. Rita also tells him that he doesn't know what's coming and that death is going to be mercy. On Earth, the Rangers are still in the middle of the war. Kimberly and Aisha are together trying to communicate with Adam and Rocky, but they were having a battle with Vessel at the time. Then Matt comes up and tells them both that he wants to continue chatting with them, but Kimberly replies that he's just going to tell lies. He then also tells her that they have already fought an evil Green Ranger, so Rita could have been more original. Kimberly starts attacking Matt, and even though he tries to discourage her with words, she still knocks him down only to have the Yellow Ranger attack him again. They are both on the floor and she tries to talk her way into his heart. Matt uses this as an advantage and shows her his face, making her believe that he managed to wake up from the spell but takes advantage of Aisha's carelessness to attack her. In Promethea, Rita and Zed are ready to start fighting, so Rita continues with her sarcasm, but Zed doesn't want to listen to her anymore. Lord Zed attacks first and manages to hurt Rita a little, but she's not even worried and still continues with her sarcasm. Both clash with their powers and generate a big explosion that throws them away. Despite this, they continue fighting, while Grace takes advantage of the moment to save the artifact and escape. In the other battle, Matt continues to fight with the Yellow Ranger as he tries to play with her mind by telling her that maybe she has felt inadequate sometime due to being a replacement like him. He then tells her that maybe this is why she likes him. At the end he asks her if he had ever asked her out on a date, if she would accept. She gets very angry and gives him a hard punch that pushes him away, but then she answers the question quietly, so he doesn't hear her and says yes. Matt is very angry and tells her that he is going to pay for hitting him, but at that moment Rocky and Adam arrive. Because of this, Matt decides to transport to the Dragonzord, and Kimberly tells the Rangers that Tommy has an idea to save Matt from the spell. The Rangers ask the Zords to become the Megazord using the Dragonzord. Matt doesn't understand what is happening, and we get to watch as the Zords combine to become the Megazord with Matt inside. This causes all the Rangers to now be inside the Megazord along with Matt, which makes it easier for them to take the sword from him and then restrain him. Billy grabs the sword and jumps out of the Megazord so Tommy can use Saba to destroy the sword. As we've said in other videos, Saba is very powerful, so she easily destroys the Green Ranger's sword. At Promethea, Grace seeks out Trona to give her the navigator and then tells her to find a person who can stop Rita. Trona is worried about Grace, but she tells him that he must escape since she is only after her. At that moment, the worst happens, Vessel arrives, and with this the escape attempt is thwarted. In the other part, Lord Zed and Rita continue fighting, and it seems that Lord Zed is starting to defeat Rita even though she keeps her sarcastic attitude saying that he is not going to defeat her. Zed launches a big attack, but Vessel arrives and stops this attack, which goes back to Zed. Then Rita starts to mock Lord Zed for not being able to get his revenge, but he tells her that he has only postponed. Rita then starts talking to Vessel and asking him about where he was. Vessel doesn't answer her and only shows her that he had caught Grace, so Rita takes this as an answer. She starts talking to Grace and acknowledges that Grace took advantage of the distraction to escape, but unfortunately, today is not the day to give second chances. She then asks Vessel to kill her, but he tells her no. This really surprises Rita, and she asks Vessel to repeat his answer, and he once again tells her no. In the Megazord, the Rangers are still holding Matt, waiting for confirmation from Tommy to find out if he destroyed the sword yet, and then they realize that Matt loses the transformation. The Rangers think they have their friend back, but when Aisha holds out her hand, Matt grabs her tightly by the wrist. He then asks her to step away and then teleports to another location. Meanwhile, Tommy and Billy outside the Megazord start to see all the putty patrollers leave too, and this confuses them a lot. At Safe Haven, Trini starts interrogating Alpha 1 and says something is coming as Drakkon came through the archway and wants to know why he took Kiya. Alpha is surprised as those weren't Rita's orders, so he wants to alert her that Drakkon is unreliable. Elsewhere, Zack tries to talk to Kever as Kever feels bad about being easily defeated by Drakkon. Zack tells him that sometimes you win and sometimes you lose, plus he has only been doing this job for a short time. He then tells him not to be curious going into every fight, sometimes fights are going to come his way. As Zack says these words, we can see many ships approaching the planet.